everybody. My name is Dr. Fred Bishy. I'm a clinical nutritionist in Staten Island, New York, and I've been in practice for close to 60 years and probably seen someplace around 25,000 people with coming out of all different kinds of lifestyles. And in the last 60 years, I've seen a tremendous amount of change in the field of nutrition and what's been going on. I've been very fortunate that I had the experience of studying in Europe with some of the best people that have since passed on. And the reason I want to, speak publicly today is because I'm kind of getting disillusioned about what's going on today in the field of nutrition and the social media. And what's happening, I see people getting more and more confused as time goes on. Now, there's all kinds of new dietary lifestyles out there, like the carnivore diet, and just about all kinds of things are happening out there, and people really don't know what to do. And a lot of people are jumping from one dietary lifestyle to another and, not realizing that mistakes are being made today and that we have been indoctrinated into, I'll say an abstract science when it comes to the field of nutrition, that and also far as the health field in general, it's more involved with money for the provider and, the recipient being exposed to the right information, where it's basically not that complicated how to become a healthy person. And of course, pharmaceutical industry is a major profit-making industry, and now the nutraceutical industry is right behind it. There's all kinds of, every week there's a new nutraceutical or a new supplement out there that's gonna, give you the, make you live to be 120 and give you the libido of a Mongolian warrior and all these type of things. And people are being misled. They don't realize basically what we should really be looking at is to look at the human body and the biological design of the human body. If you do, if you look at that, you'll know exactly what we really should be doing. We are definitely, now kind of a new rage. There's a bunch of people that are pushing the carnivore diet, and they're getting pretty good results in the beginning. And you will get results in the beginning, not because of the animal protein you're eating, it's because of what you leave out. Any lifestyle that works is based on leaving out certain things that are more compatible with the human physiology. We don't look like lions, tigers, or big cats. We are not designed to eat a diet that predominantly is animal protein. You can do it, and you will feel good in the beginning because you're leaving out cake, candy, soda, or ice cream, all that processed food. The key to being a healthy person is leaving out the processed food. That's the key, and that's a problem with a lot of people because there's a major psychological problem with processed food. It's highly addictive, and all addictions work through the hunger drive. It's similar to when you look at food and you've been eating it over a long period of time, and it's very delicious. Like some of these processed foods are very, very delicious. When you try to give them up, a lot of people won't even consider it. It's almost the same as if a person's a drug addict doing cocaine or doing something like that. Unless they're in a lot of trouble, they don't even consider giving it up. They don't want to give it up. It's a parallel road to substance abuse because it is an addiction. Processed food is a modern day curse, and it's highly addictive. That's why a lot of people don't want to change to a diet that if they change to it, that's the biological optimal diet, not something that you can live with. There's a lot of lifestyles that you can live with if you're leaving out the processed food, but it's not the optimal diet. The optimal diet gives us the ability to live a long time, to have a sharp mind, be physically active, be able to run, jump, and dance. It might sound like an exaggeration. It's not. As far as I'm concerned, we have the information today for people that are willing to change, to do what the body is designed to do. As a human body is a very sophisticated, miraculous biological organism. If you you let it have free reign over your health based on what you leave out, your body's going to do wonderful things. I don't see any reason why we can't live to be 100 years old or longer today based on what we have control over. But remember, a lot of things we don't have control over. We only have control over what's in our environment and what we're putting in our mouth. We have been misled about a tremendous amount of different things. And a lot of people trying to look at this, from a scientific standpoint, and they say we're going by the science. No, they're not. They're not being presented with the real science. It's an abstract science. The real science that governs the human body, that makes it able to live optimally, it's basically very simple. It's not that complicated. But what happens when they say they go by the science, what they're looking into the abstract science. They're taking a look at the science behind a macrobiotic diet, a carnivore diet, a raw food diet, a vegan diet. If you take a snapshot of each individual lifestyle, if you're leaving out the processed food, you're going to do pretty good. But it's not the optimal diet for the human body. The optimal diet for the human body will carry you into later years in life. Not only do you want to, it's not so much how long you live, although we have the ability now to live, into 80s, 90s, and 100s. And a lot of it's got to do with medical heroics. Doctors have a lot to do with that. But that the quality of life is important. A lot of people are living a long time, and they're not having a quality of life. Alzheimer's disease and a lot of different problems that are developing. People are losing their cognitive function. People are losing their quality of life. I mean, they're living longer. They're having all kinds of joints replaced. They're having stents put in their arteries. They're having bypass surgery. Okay, that's good if you want to live a long life that way. And a lot of people walking around, struggling, walking with walkers and things like that. I'm not talking about that kind of a long life. I'm talking about living into your 80s, 90s, and possibly beyond, be able to, go swimming, go dancing, enjoy your life, your children, your grandchildren. That's very, very possible today. But you have to be open to facing the reality of what how you're living and what you're consuming. And a lot of people are not open to doing that. Of course, the processed food is, let's face it, there's a lot of processed foods out there that's really, really delicious. I'm not talking about living extreme dietary lifestyles, which there are, like the type of lifestyle I lead. I've been on a raw food diet for more than half a century, and maybe closer to 60 years. And I know most people really probably don't want to do that. And even if you do it, the longer you do it, it's not easy to come out of that safely. I mean, you can come out of it and go back to eating other foods, but it's that adjustment coming out of it is not the same as going into it. So I'm very leery about with all the, a lot of people now going on a raw food diet. They don't realize what a serious commitment that is, and if you don't stay with it, you could have a problem. So I don't really. I'm very careful about that. I don't even want to talk about that much today. So the real what I'm trying to say is what you leave out in some respects is actually just as important as what you're eating. If you're eating a good diet, and we're designed to eat a plant-based diet. We're not lions, tigers, or big cats. We're not carnivores. It's that simple. All you got to just do is think about it. Our teeth, our digestive system, the hydrochloric acid, the microbiome, it's totally different in a carnivore. Now, there are people, you can eat a moderate amount of animal protein within a plant-based diet. People have to decide for themselves. I'm not going to go into today what I think what I have found beyond a shadow of a doubt within the 25, 30,000 people I have seen. It's like a double-blind study to see who does better, who does the best, and to see who does best, the better when you have, what works best with chronic disease, where when you leave out the processed food, how the human body responds to lifestyle with, processed food, and they have chronic disease. What happens? It just goes away. That's what happens. There's a lot of tools we have at our fingertips. You know what I mean? Now, intermittent fasting is, a lot of people practicing intermittent fasting, and it is getting to be controversial. There are people claiming it could cause problems, and not if it's done correctly and intelligently. It's not going to be a problem. Of course, I'm always been a big fan of fasting. I have a lot of personal experience with the water fasting. I studied with some of the better Europeans. I followed them in Europe, and there are people doing research in this country now, like Dr. Alan Goldhammer, who runs a fasting retreat. And I think fasting under proper supervision there aren't too many things that compare with it. But the thing is, if you incorporate fasting into your lifestyle, I mean, you're changing your chemistry. You're almost like you're a different person. So if you go on a long fast, you can't go back to eating. You could, but if you go back to eating the processed food, you're going to have problems. You have to upgrade your lifestyle when you get involved with cleansing and detoxifying your body. And there's all kinds. The human body is very capable of detoxifying itself. A lot of people are marketing all these supplements, to clean out your lymphatic system, to detoxify your liver and your kidneys. Your body's capable of doing that if it's in a simple way, based on what you leave out, and you give your body, free reign to do it. The only problem is if somebody's been eating a horrible diet and they need supervision, because your body could release, a serious amount of endogenous toxins that could make you feel very, very sick, or could cause different symptoms that could be misunderstood. And if not handled correctly, it could be a problem. So you have to really do the research and find out how your body can make you a very, very healthy person. Even with your own care, maybe just somebody just getting you guiding you into it in the beginning. But I really want to talk about the confusion that's taking place now about the different type of diets out there that are out there now. And a lot of people, young people, are talking about the carnivore diet. There's some celebrities that they're talking about how wonderful the carnivore diet is. And there's nothing new about the carnivore diet. Robert Atkins, got into a high protein diet many, many years ago. And initially it had the same impact. People lost weight and all kinds of things happened, but it doesn't last in the long run. It's not a longevity type of diet. And there are some medical doctors that are really trying to push it. And we are not carnivores. We don't look like lions, tigers, or big cats. And sooner or later, your body's going to run into difficulty. We are designed to eat a plant-based diet. We are designed to eat a diet that's whole foods, freshly prepared, plant-based, and then small amounts of other things based on what you want to do and what you think you can do. So, and you could actually be, a lot of people think you can't be an athlete on on a vegan diet. I think many people realize now that was all hype. I mean, I was an athlete on eating 100% raw food diet. Once I started getting enough calories, I ran marathons. I did a lot of things, and until I had a very serious car accident, till I got injured, I was very, very strong. Even though I was very thin, I was very strong for a guy my size. but I had a background in weightlifting when I was young. I was a 200-pound guy, so I believe that, I came from a family that we were genetically strong. So I want to encourage people to not to be trapped in social media today and be so confused. And watch out. You want to look at the, the long term effect of this type of thing, not the short term effect. Lifestyle based on what you leave out is going to give your body the freedom to do, what I believe God designed it to do, what God created the human body to do. If you're eating good foods and you're incorporating some processed food, say you're on weekends, you eat whatever you want, or you eat some good food, and you're mixing up, a lot of the eating up some of the processed food, you're not going to always get the same result. Over a period of years, the consistency, when you're eating real clean food and leaving out, and this is the hard part, there's no two ways about it, and you're leaving out the processed food consistently, and you're not eating late at night, and you're not overeating, you have a very good chance, as far as I'm concerned, make it to the 90 or 100. I mean, it really works, because at this point in my life, at 93, because of what I've been doing, I had a couple very bad accidents. I'm in pain now from an accident. And otherwise, I feel as good as I did when I was 50. I'm not saying that to boast. I'm just saying that to emphasize that people have to reconsider what's going on today. And a lot of the ailments that we have are not caused by nutritional deficiencies, unless you've eaten a terrible diet, and you're suffering from deficiencies, then supplements, will help fulfill those deficiencies. But if you're eating a plant-based diet, plenty of fruits and vegetables, and some whole grains, and some animal protein if you want, yeah, and that could be regulated. That would never been my choice, but I don't push anything radical on people. I have plenty of people that come to me that I create dietary lifestyles where they're eating clean, but they're eating a little bit of everything, so they could, have more of a social life, and they don't feel like aliens in their own environment. So it's extremely, extremely important that when you do create, look at the lifestyle that you're going to choose, especially if you're a young person, to look at something, you have to say to yourself, am I going to be doing this 20 years from now? That's what I did many, many years ago. I said, can I do this to live with this lifestyle down the road? Because I had an idea what would happen if I got into the type of lifestyle that I was experimenting with, to what would happen if I didn't stay with it. So I knew, because I knew somebody was heavily involved, that was an educated guy, was heavily involved in this type of a thing. And I saw what happened to him when he didn't stay with it. And, he was educated with a scientific background. He didn't realize what could happen to him. And it cost him dearly, now. So I know with a guy like me, I have no desire to change. I wouldn't change. And I've been in a serious accident. I've been exposed to mold, almost killed me. People say, oh, you should change what you're doing. Absolutely not. I wouldn't, because I know what would happen. I already know, because I've seen it happen to other people. So people have to choose a lifestyle they could live with. But if they want to live a long time and be a poorer host for bacteria or viral proliferation, you have to leave out the processed food. If you do that, you're very rarely, you won't get sick very often, that's for sure. If you do, it'll be a minor thing. I've seen that happen just recently in the last couple of years. I saw who got sick and who didn't, So, of course, detox, there's a lot of things you could do to make sure that your body's going through the healing, the process of keeping you, helping you keep you clean by making sure you move your bowels, probably once for every meal that you eat. You don't need a lot of food. They're trying to convince people that you need a lot of food. There's certain things certain so-called essential nutrients I've never gotten. I don't think we need. I personally don't think. I know I don't need them. You know that they're basically something that's meant for people that are carnivorous. You know, I'm not against some people eating a moderate amount of animal protein, but if people come to me that are really sick, I try to educate them how to give their body a chance to heal them, to put them in a position where the body's going to do what it was intended to do. I believe when you eat, the right type of a diet, and the human body is governed by natural law. There's natural laws. You can't jump out of a plane without a parachute. You're not going to go on. You don't have gills. You're not going underwater, be able to breathe underwater. There's certain natural laws that you have to be drinking clean water, getting enough rest, getting quality sleep, being properly hydrated, because water is a solvent in the transport medium. It's extremely important. You can't make up for that with coffee or soda. Soda is, drinking, soda and ginger ale. I mean, they're not good for based on what I'm talking about now. And a lot of people in the beginning, when they're young, they can do everything wrong and they're strong. And, people are always talking about, promoting muscle growth. The size of your arms has nothing to do with how long you're going to live. You want to be an Olympic weightlifter or a power lifter, there's a way to pursue that too. But I don't know if that's the best way to live a long time. I was an Olympic type lifter when I was a young fella that weighed 200 pounds, and I was strong, but I never ate the way they were eating today. That wouldn't have been for me. The water, make sure you're drinking clean water. Watch out, a lot of bottled water. People are mostly aware of plastics. Exercising out in the fresh air and sunshine without getting sunburn is good for you. Getting grounded, going down. I love to go down the beach and run on the beach and walk on the beach. Very enjoyable for me. And, up until I had this pinched nerve in my back from this accident, I mean, I was still running. I had a video on there coming back from a run last year through the hills. My wife was singing an Irish lullaby. Right now, I'm not able to run, so I'm hoping to get rid of this injury so I can get back to what I'm doing. The potential of the human body to live a wonderful life and to be very, very healthy is not, that information is not really coming out of mainstream. It's about, it's an abstract science that they're measuring. That's why some of the scientists are really, they're going by the science, and the evidence is already there. It's been there for hundreds of years. People that live with that way know what it is, what goes on when you do it.